In this clip, we're going to learn how to pull the FEMA flood map for a new buy that a buyer brings back to make sure that the property we're purchasing is not in a flood zone. So when we get notification from our buyers that we've got a new buy, the first thing we want to do is log into our Toodle-Doo accounts and add that property to our folders. So over here in Toodle-Doo, we're going to click on the folder icon, and then all of these are the current properties that we're working on. Okay, we can add a folder down here at the bottom. So you would just type in 123 Main Street or whatever your property address is, and then hit enter, and that will automatically populate for you right here at the bottom of this list. Today I've already done that for the property that we're going to be working on, and that is property 191 Saratoga. When you add a new folder, you will copy the master checklist here and paste it into the proper folder. We'll talk about that in a different video. I've already done that for today's tutorial. So in Saratoga, one of our drop downs, we're going to see that one of the buy check marks here that we need to check off is the flood zone determination. Right here in the notes section, there's a step-by-step on how to do that. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to click on this link here that'll automatically pull open the proper website we're supposed to go to. The next thing we're going to need is an address. The place you can find any of these addresses is in the Google Drive, where our buyers have already saved the information from their buy call. So we're going to go up here to this little icon for our Google Drive. You can open this up through a web browser also. Mine is just saved to my desktop. So we're going to go into real estate. So it's Google Drive, real estate, home investors, buys and sales. And for this, we're doing 191 Saratoga Drive. Then we're going to go into the buy folder. And there's two places we can check. The first place we can check is the tax records. The property address will always be on the tax records. And that is right here. And the address will be right at the top. So we should be able to copy and paste this address. We'll minimize our tax records in case we need them for later and minimize our Google Drive. We're going to paste our address here in this little white box and hit the blue search button. Now, depending on the time of day, sometimes FEMA takes some time to generate this map, sometimes they don't. Okay, so this should be the page that you get when your address pulls up. What you're going to want to do is zoom out just a little bit so we get a better view. This blue square is what we're looking for, okay? And the key to read it is down here. That's not so important. The big thing that we're looking for here is the highlights and all the different things. This property is near a flood zone, but we are not in the flood zone. Okay, so you can see here this pink and blue striped is the regulatory floodway. These are special flood hazard areas. And then the blue is the without base flood elevation. So we are not in the flood zone, though we're close. Okay, so once we've established that and there's no red flags that we need to raise, we can scroll up here and click this dynamic map option. And then FEMA will read you this, the request to the flood map has been submitted. It may take a minute or two. Again, sometimes this doesn't take more than 30 seconds. Other times this takes, I'll leave it up sometimes for close to an hour. So let's just wait a couple minutes here and see if that will generate for us. In the meantime, we're going to go over here and you'll see on our checklist here that once we ensure that the waypoint is properly in the blue square and that it's not in a flood zone, we'll click that dynamic map like we did. Then we're going to save a picture of this in the directory under the proper folder. So let's go back over here. It looks like it populated. That didn't take too long. So this is what the page is going to look like. And again, it provides a key, which is great for the buyer or the financier, anybody who wants to double check your work. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to download this image. And then it'll pop up with this option on where do you want to save it. So we're going to start from the beginning here. And we're going to start with the Google Drive. Again, my drive. Okay, now we're going real estate just like before, home investors, then we're going to go buys and sales. Again, we're working on Saratoga here, which is, hold on, give me a minute to find it. 191 right at the top. Okay, we're going into buy because this is part of the buy process. And we're going to label this FEMA flood map safe. Okay, then we're going to save that. And we can close out of these FEMA links. Then that brings us back to our to-do checklist here. Let's see, we've saved the picture or that PDF in the buy directory for the proper folder, so we've done that. If the property is near any flood zone, do not check this task. Well, that's not something we have to worry about for this property, so we can go ahead and click the checkbox on this task, and then we can, you don't have to reload your to-do. I like to just to see that it's gone because it's satisfying for me. And that is how you check and record the FEMA flood map for a new buy that's come in.